This is a story about a young messenger who can sense the unspoken thoughts of nearly everyone he meets. When the noise becomes unbearable, an elderly river guide helps him discover that hearing thoughts is not the same as knowing truth, and that peace comes from learning which voice deserves attention. Nico first noticed it in the marketplace. A baker smiled and said, "Good morning." But Nico heard another sentence beneath the words, "I hope he doesn't notice I burned the bread." A woman thanked a merchant. He heard, "He charged me too much." A boy hugged his father. Nico heard, "Please don't leave again." At first, Nico thought he had developed an extraordinary gift. He worked as a messenger, carrying letters between villages, and knowing what people were thinking seemed useful. He could sense suspicion before a door opened. He knew when someone was hiding anger. He heard worries people never spoke aloud. Soon he began believing the thoughts. If someone thought Nico is annoying, he felt rejected. If someone silently feared betrayal, Nico became suspicious too. If two people smiled while thinking irritated thoughts, he decided the smiles were false. Within months, the world felt dangerous. Every mind seemed full of contradiction. Love beside resentment, hope beside fear, generosity beside judgment. Thoughts rushed through Nico like a crowded station. He stopped sleeping. Finally, an old woman told him about Imani, a river guide who ferried travelers through the northern canyon. "She hears differently," the woman said. Nico found Imani beside a long green river, repairing an oar. "I can hear thoughts," he announced. Imani kept sanding the wood. "That sounds noisy." "You don't understand. I hear what people really think." Imani looked up. "Really?" "Yes." "Then you must know the truth about everyone." Nico hesitated. "I know what is in their minds." "That was not my question." She invited him into the boat. They pushed into the current. Immediately, Nico heard her thoughts. "The river is higher today. That boy looks exhausted. I should have brought more tea." Nico smiled triumphantly. "I can hear you. I assumed you could." "You were thinking about tea." "I often do." "Doesn't that bother you?" "No." They drifted farther downstream. Soon the current grew rough. Nico began hearing thoughts from travelers along both banks. "I'm afraid. She doesn't respect me. What if I fail? I need more money. Nobody understands. I hate him. I miss her." Nico gripped his head. "Make it stop." Imani dipped her oar calmly. "I can't." "Then how do I control it?" "Perhaps control is not the lesson." A branch floated past. Imani pointed to it. "See that branch?" "Yes." "Does the river become every object floating through it?" "No." "Then why do you become every thought moving through awareness?" Nico stared at the water. "But thoughts affect everything." "They can. They shape choices." "Yes. They can even shape the world we experience." "Yes. So they matter." Imani nodded. "Very much. That is why discernment matters more than obedience." The river widened, she continued. A fearful thought can pass through a mind without becoming truth. An angry thought can appear without defining the person who notices it. Nico looked troubled. "Then what does define them?" "Perhaps nothing you can overhear." They reached a quiet bend. Imani pulled the boat toward shore. "Listen now." Nico heard dozens of thoughts from the nearby village. Then Imani asked, "What is underneath them?" "More thoughts." "Go quieter." Nico closed his eyes. The noise continued. Plans, judgments, memories, arguments, images. Then he noticed something else. Not another sentence. A spaciousness in which the sentences appeared. The thoughts moved. The awareness noticing them did not seem disturbed. Nico opened his eyes. "What was that?" Imani smiled. "You tell me." "It was quiet." "Was it absent while the thoughts were loud?" "No." "Then perhaps quiet guidance is not competing with noise. Perhaps you were listening only to what shouted." For several days, Nico traveled the river with her. Whenever thoughts flooded him, Imani taught him to ask, "Is this fear or clarity? Does this thought separate or join? Does it demand attack, defense, or control? Or does it leave room for peace?" Nico began noticing that the loudest thoughts were often the least trustworthy. Fear repeated itself. Judgment spoke quickly. Inner guidance rarely argued. It arrived more like a gentle knowing. "Wait, listen. Do not assume. Be kind. Ask again." One afternoon, Nico sensed two brothers arguing silently while repairing a dock. One thought, "He never respects me." The other thought, "I wish he knew how much I need him." Old Nico would have believed the conflict. Instead, he stepped back. The thoughts were different, but beneath them was the same desire not to lose connection. Suddenly, Nico understood something larger. Minds seemed separate because their surface thoughts contradicted one another. Yet beneath the noise, everyone appeared to be reaching for the same peace. "What if minds were never truly separate?" he asked Imani that evening. She smiled. "Then hearing thoughts would not be the miracle. What would be? Remembering the joining beneath them." Nico eventually returned to his work as a messenger. He still sensed thoughts, but he stopped treating every thought as revelation. Sometimes a mind produced fear, sometimes blame, sometimes tenderness, sometimes nonsense. Nico learned to let mental noise move like debris on water. He paid attention to what led toward joining. And whenever the world became loud again, he remembered Imani's river. Thoughts could race, fear could shout, judgments could collide, but awareness did not have to chase them. The current carried many things. The river remained the river. May we sing, rest, and dance our way home together.